Hey folks, Steve here with the results of the dark vote, where we had folks voting to see which of the Dark series games will be covered on the channel, at least the first one. Well, the votes are in, and it came to be a landslide victory. If you were paying attention to the comments, you probably know who won, but the winner is the Dark Sands. War in North Africa, 1940 to 1942, and I've gone ahead and got the game mostly set up here. I'm recording this with my phone just so it's quicker to upload to YouTube. I've gone ahead and laid out the two map sheets end to end here. They overlap a little bit in the middle, and I've set that up. I put some plexi down on everything, and you can sort of see I've got all the counters up where they are on the turn track for reinforcements. So all the counters have been arranged that way. I've gotten all the other markers and stuff situated. I've also rounded the corners for most of the counters, but not all of them. And I think what I'm going to do is, and you can sort of see the units that will be at start have their corners rounded. Everything else does not. So as I bring units in for reinforcements, I will have the corners rounded with my corner rounder, and we'll look to get things set up. So I will probably see you in the next video with all the startup units placed along the map, so that will all be in place before I start recording the video series proper. We are going to play the full campaign. Not a lot of comments really talked about full campaign versus smaller scenario. We did get a couple of folks saying one way or the other, but it seemed like the majority of folks were asking for the full campaign. So we will do the full campaign starting with turn 1 and running into turn 2. You can sort of see, it's just a preview of things. On the east map, you're really into Egypt proper, with El Alamein and Alexandria off to the side. Things are a little compressed due to the Qattara Depression. They start to spread out, and then there's a map skip and different ratios of distance per hex, so it's a different scale in the center map, where you can see there's a lot more maneuvering space, a lot more just open desert to work with. You can sort of see the roads and networks of rail with Tobruk, and then off to the west map you can see sort of the this area of Libya with El Agela off to the west, and some of this map, obviously there's going to be some tightness due to the mountainous region up here. All kinds of fun stuff. And yeah, so we'll be looking to get into it. Hex encounter game. The rules themselves aren't terribly complicated, though I'm sure we'll run into various obstacles along the way. I'm sure that will give us grief. You can sort of see, just as an example, these are some asset markers. The allies, for these markers over here, those green emboxed letters, or letters with green boxes around them, the C and the E say they can be used on the central and eastern map. So as this tug of war in North Africa occurs, what will tend to happen is that the forces that you bring to bear will tend to work well on your, Axis have the west map, the Allies have the east map, and then in the center is where a lot of the fighting is going to take place. And so it kind of makes it so that if you were pushing as, say, like the Axis east to the east map, you will have less resources to bring to bear. So it's sort of a balancing aspect, I guess. Same thing with the Allies. If they're pushing into the west map, less of their assets are going to be useful. The way I think the game's going to go is, obviously the Commonwealth will push the Italians back, the Germans will come and reinforce and then push them back, and then we'll be fighting in the middle. I am a little worried that, just based on the reinforcement schedule and the way that the activation chits work, where each turn you get a different recipe for activation chits that go into the cup to determine when and how units are activated. I'm almost afraid things are going to be too scripted and that things will happen exactly like you would expect them to. But we'll see. There might be some tricky things that happen. And of course, because I'm playing myself as a solo game, it can be difficult to surprise oneself, but I try to separate my mind enough that will make it work. Sometimes I make big mistakes and don't notice it till later, and that goes to the benefit of the side I'm playing later, so we'll see how it goes. So if you voted, thank you for voting. If you didn't get a chance to vote, I'm sorry. We'll maybe try to do some other voting type setups in the future for other game series and other games to do. I will still do the Dark Valley eventually, sometime down the road. So if you voted for the Dark Valley and are disappointed in the victory for the Dark Sands, not to worry. We will get to the Dark Valley someday, maybe a while down the road. We'll see how long this takes us. I'm hoping it actually won't take too long. Supposedly you can get through each turn in maybe an hour once you're working at it. I will probably take longer because I'm going to be hemming and hawing over my decisions, but I'll try to keep a lot of that off camera, and you'll simply see the results as we go. And it may be several videos. I probably won't all cut it into one gigantic video. It'll be several videos, I'm sure. So thank you for watching. Hope to see you in the next video. Not sure exactly when that will be. I'll try to get to it as I can, but we'll see you there. So catch you later. Bye.